today we are going to make what I call Ann Arbor chicken pasta, and I call it this because a long time ago I was in Ann Arbor and I went to a restaurant. They had this amazing pasta dish and they wouldn't tell me the recipe, so I went home and kind of recreated it as best as I could. So from now on we've been calling it Ann Arbor chicken pasta. I've got my water boiling behind me and I'm going to use a tri-colored pasta. You can use any kind that you want. But you need to use a pound of pasta. I just like the colors because it makes the dish look really pretty. So what we're going to do while the water is boiling is we are going to start with 3 tablespoons of butter. And you are going to put that into your saute pan, just like that. And we're going to get the heat going on that a little bit. And from there, we are going to dice and mince 2 cloves of garlic. So once it's all chopped really well, you're going to add it to the pan. Next, we're going to add a little bit of chopped onion. You can add as much or as little as you like of this, depending on how much onion you prefer in your dishes. Okay. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to add that to the pan as well. Okay, the next thing we're going to add is baby portobello mushrooms. Now the trick when you're using mushrooms is you don't want to wash them because they're like sponges and they will soak up all the water. So what I do is I just remove the stem from the bottom of the mushroom, and if it looks like it has some dirt on it, you can take some paper towel and just kind of wipe it clean, but you don't want to do any more than that. So we're just going to use about 3 or 4 mushroom tops, and you're going to chop these into long strips. All right, so we're going to add the mushrooms into the pan as well, and I'm just going to give it a quick stir, lower the heat a little bit. All right, the next thing we're going to add is some peas. I just use the frozen peas because they're easy to use. You're going to use 2 cups of peas. It ends up being about half the bag. But there's 1 cup. And 2 cups. And the last thing we're going to add is our deboned chicken. I've already showed you how to do this in a previous tutorial. You're just going to chop it. It just has to be a rough chop. You don't have to cube it and make it look really pretty. And once it's all chopped and ready to go, we're going to add this to the pan also. Okay, now while this is simmered down a little bit and it's getting nice and soft, we are going to add about 1/4 cup of flour into the dish, and that's going to thicken the sauce. So you're just going to kind of sprinkle it all over. And so you just want to make sure that you stir it and coat all the meat and the vegetables with the flour, so there are no visible parts of the flour remaining. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add 1½ cups of milk. I'm using 2% milk, and it's really important that you use 2% milk and not skim because it adds to the creaminess of the dish. And skim milk will make it seem watery. So there's 1 cup, and there's my ½ cup. And what's going to happen is that flour and milk are going to mix together and it's going to thicken really nice. And now the last thing that I'm going to add to the sauce is some cheese. This is shredded Parmesan cheese. I'm going to add the entire bag. If you are buying it in a different format, it's about 5 ounces. Or about 1¼ cups of shredded Parmesan cheese, but you're going to add that in, and you're going to continue to stir this until the cheese and the milk are nice and melted together into a nice thick sauce. So now we've added the pasta to the boiling water, and you're going to cook it according to the instructions on the box. So the pasta's cooked, and I'm going to dump it into the pan with all the rest of the other ingredients. And we're just going to stir it up and make sure everything's coated. Once it's almost completely mixed through, I'm just going to zap it with a little bit of salt. You can omit this if you'd like, but I think it adds a lot of flavor. And it pulls the flavor of everything else out. Okay, so doesn't that look pretty? All the colors and the vegetables and the creaminess of the sauce. A serving of this pasta is about 2 cups. So you're just going to fill that in. Now remember, this is giving you everything. This is giving you your protein and your grain and your vegetables. So this is the meal. So a 2-cup portion is adequate. And for this 2-cup portion, you can count this as 3 proteins, 3 grains, and 3 fats. Enjoy.